Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land and Facebook land, the world, wherever you might be listening to this. Welcome to another episode of Musings with MGL, coming to you once again from my makeshift home studio. Because, like everybody else, I am essentially stuck at home because of what's been going on out there in the world. So before I get into today's topic, I want to remind everybody again, if you like what you see here, if you like my videos, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, share, comment, whatever you care to do. It really helps me out. So as I said, I'm doing it once again in my home studio where the lighting is pretty bad and the echo doesn't really work that great. But the reason I'm here is because everything is basically shut down, okay? And we've been talking about this for a while now, and I keep getting messages every day, and everybody keeps asking questions every day. And there are articles on social media and on major magazines and news papers and on TV is how the hell is the government allowed to do all of this? Where does the government get their right to force us to shut down our business? Or to force us to not interact with people, okay? For example, the city where I live just passed an ordinance or gave authority to the police department to start charging people with a misdemeanor crime for hanging out with more than 10 people. So if they find a group of more than 10 people, they're supposed to try and get the group to disperse. If they don't disperse voluntarily, they're now allowed to charge those people with crimes. Misdemeanors, which are punishable by jail time. Okay, the president is talking about quarantining entire states and telling them that they're not allowed to travel from one state to another. We've already been told, thankfully not so far here in Florida, but in a lot of other states, people have been told that they can't go where they want to go. They can't keep their businesses open. They can't go see their family. They can't go see their friends. Now, look, people should probably voluntarily do those things, obviously, when we're in a health crisis. I'm certainly not advising somebody to go visit grandma when there's a disease going around. I'm certainly not advising people to hang out in groups of 10 if they can avoid it. What I'm talking about is the government forcing you to do that, okay? They don't have the right to do that, all right? My opinion, it's all unconstitutional. None of these governors, even the presidents, have no authority to force your business to close. They have no authority to tell you who you can visit and who you cannot. There's no provision in the Constitution that says that, okay? You're not going to read any article of the Constitution of the United States or your state constitution that lays out all the restrictions against the government and then has a phrase at the end that says, unless everybody gets sick, okay? There's no qualifier for that. There's nothing that gives them the right to do all the things that they're doing right now. I believe that they are violating our constitutional rights every day that they pass these laws. They do not have the authority to do this. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. You're starting to see a lot of uprising out there amongst people who are saying, what the hell? You don't have the authority to do this, okay? Again, you're seeing a lot of major newspapers. I mean, there's a big article in the Washington Times here today that I was just reading earlier on my phone, which lays out the whole history of the Constitution and how Madison and Jefferson and all these people who wrote it under no circumstances put any sort of exceptions in there that said if people get sick, you can do all these things to them. Okay, you have the absolute right to coerce or conduct business with anybody that you want to. There's nothing that says that they're allowed to forbid that just because people get sick. You have the right to hang out with who you want. You have the right to associate with who you want. There is no provision to allow them to do that. And look, people need to start worrying about these things. And when people ask me, well, how is it constitutional they can't be allowed to do that? Well, that's true, but just like everything else, there's no magic button. Like I can't snap my fingers or no person on the street when the cop comes up and says, here's your ticket, can snap their fingers and say, wait a minute, you can't do this to me. I have the right to be out here with my friends. What has to happen is you have to challenge it in court, just like everything else. So when they pass a resolution on this, groups like the ACLU, even though a lot of us don't like them for the things that they've done in the past, but for something like this, they should step up and they should file lawsuits against all these governors and all these mayors and counties and city councils that are passing these resolutions and telling people that they could be charged with a crime simply for being out and about. They need to file lawsuits, ask for injunctions when people get charged. So if somebody gets arrested for this crime or gets a civil citation for it, they need to file a lawsuit because now they basically have standing because they've been arrested. They need to file a personal lawsuit or challenge it. They need to plead not guilty and go to trial. If they lose, then they need to appeal it all the way to the Supreme Court, because you can't just give in. You can't just sit back and go, oh, well, it's for the good of the community because people are sick. Because I see a lot of people out there in the world and social media and my friends that are basically saying that, stay home. Why hasn't the governor done this? Why haven't they shut down this? Why are they still allowing people to do this? Well, I'll tell you why they're allowing people to do this, because the goddamn Constitution says that we're allowed to do it, and you can't tell us that we can't. Okay? They have no authority to do it. So I understand that people out there are worried about it, and again, for voluntary purposes, you should do that. But we should not just sit here and allow the government to run roughshod over our rights simply because people are getting sick. There's nothing that allows them to do that. So I want to read a paragraph from this Washington Times article that I was reading earlier because it kind of sums everything up perfectly. These decrees, issued by those who have no legal authority to issue them, enforced by cops who hate what they are being made to do, destructive of the freedoms that our forebears shed oceans of blood to preserve, and crushing economic prosperity by violating the laws of supply and demand, should all be rejected by an outraged populace and challenged in court. Fight fear with fear. And that's how they're getting away with this, folks, is people are afraid. Okay, we see it every day on Facebook. You see it when you talk to your friends in person or on the phone, and all the ways that we're communicating these days. The fear out there is crazy, and fear makes people do things that they would never do, and fear empowers the government to do things that they are not allowed to do. And a lot of people are just going to sit back and take it because they think it's for the greater good, because they don't want to get sick. But the greater good is always individual freedoms, individual rights, limited government, and power to the people kind of concept. So I just want to do a quick little video here today to answer a general question that people are asking me about how these are constitutional. Look, my opinion is they're not, but they got to be challenged in court just like everything else that comes out that's not constitutional. But from a personal standpoint, as somebody who really, really loves this country and really, really loves our Constitution and considers himself a rugged individualist, I am fighting these laws if I can in the legal system. Like I said, I may not be out there gathering groups of 10, but it's not because the government's telling me to. It's because, I have a family and I'm trying to be smart about it like everybody else should. So again, if you want to voluntarily do those things, that's fine. But we should not just sit back as a populace and allow the government to run roughshod over us just because we're sick. Because like every power that the government ends up taking, they never give it back. So if you set a precedent for just rolling over for them when a disease comes out like this, and just start letting them make whatever laws that they want, decrees that they want, and then cowering in the corner like sheep and following those laws, all that's going to do is embolden them. And the next time they're going to do it again, and they're going to do it again, and they're going to do it again, and they're never going to give the power back. And I don't care if they're Democrats or Republicans. I don't care if it's Nancy Pelosi or Donald Trump. I don't give a shit. None of them should be allowed to do that, and we should be standing up for it. We should be fighting against it. Those of us who are lawyers should be filing lawsuits whenever a case comes across us. I'd be happy to, if somebody in my city ends up getting one and they want to call me, I'll be happy to find a way to do something about that. Those of us in the legal community locally are already chatting with each other, talking about, is it constitutional, is it not? How are we going to get together to fight this? Because a lot of us aren't going to put up with this crap. So, and you shouldn't either, all right? So it's just a quick video today. Look, it is what it is. I'll say it like I say it every week. I want everybody to stay home if they can. Stay safe, stay healthy, but stay open. Remember, I always say that. Stay open if you can, because you do not want to just roll over and give in. People should be smart. Again, I don't want this to be misconstrued to me saying go out there and hang out in groups of 20 just to, stick it to the man. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you should be smart, but you should voluntarily be smart. We should not allow the government to force us to be smart, because as stupid as it sounds, being stupid is one of our rights in the Constitution. If people want to go out there and contract with another person for goods and services in a crisis, they should be allowed to do that. That's between those two people. If they're that stupid, they're that stupid. If you're protecting yourself by saying, I'm not going to go out there and hang out with people, you're not going to get sick just because those people are getting sick. So fight the power, fight the government as best as you can. I'm not encouraging anybody to go out there and do anything stupid like start a civil war or anything like that. That's not what this is about. It's just about recognizing that we have the power in this country, not the governors, not the president, not anybody else. And we shouldn't give up that power just because we're scared. That is the last reason we should ever give up our power. Okay, so keep that in mind. Again, comment, share. If you think I'm completely wrong, you want to give me a downvote, give me a downvote. Give me a like if you think you like what I have to say. Subscribe. Click on the notifications so you get notifications when I post these videos. And again, stay safe, stay healthy, stay open, and carry on.